From every corner of the world, the shooting community, thankful and relieved that top-level competition has started, has gathered right here at the Dr. Karni Singh Range in New Delhi, one of the more regular venues of top-level shooting in the world. It's a wonderful campus, and it is in the capital city of India, to the southeast of it, matter of fact, on a little hillock. But here are some wonderful and globally known signs of New Delhi. India Gate, in the main thoroughfare in the center of Delhi, the main avenue leading up to the presidential palace. Lots of parks as well, places for people to relax and enjoy themselves. And monuments, as always, plenty of them, hundreds of them strewn across the country, indicating times have gone by. Qutub Minar standing tall and proud, about 1,000 years now, well, 900 certainly. Wonderful Baha'i temple, marble wonder. Jantar Mantar telling time for centuries now. No shortage of monuments. And of course, shopping, plenty of it. Antiques if you wish, new colorful dream catchers if you'd like. And so much of sport is all about dreaming, isn't it? Have a dream, follow it, follow your passion. And just a wonderful tourist destination, the capital city of India. Do try and visit it as soon as you can. But of course, for us, all eyes here at the Dr. Karni Singh shooting range. We're talking about the finals range now with its own viewership hall, where unfortunately there aren't spectators allowed, but plenty of other support otherwise. As we welcome you to day 5 of the ISSF World Cup Rifle Pistol Shotgun event in New Delhi. Well, we are now set with one more final for the day, but before that, allow me to introduce the man for whom this is all very familiar, being one of India's shooting superstars. Gagan Narang is here with me at the range. Gagan, well, one more event to go. The home team has done very well, but just great to see the shooting community here in large numbers.
Good afternoon, Charu. Thank you. What an amazing day it has been so far. Yes, 50 countries participating in this World Cup. That's some good number of countries participating, that too in the pandemic times. Earlier in the qualifications, we saw some top-class performances with 1179s, scores going up as that, and the finals closing at about mid-60s. So interesting qualification rounds. Of course, the Indians didn't make it into the finals, but we have some top shot competition coming up.
Well, the ladies competed very fiercely for a position in the finals. Only 8 make it. Just to remind you, plenty of interest from India as well, but none of them made it through to the final 8. Here they are. Stankovic from Poland, Taka from the US, Kristen from Switzerland, Rigeming Ibsen from Denmark, from Slovakia, 2 shooters, Dvorshak and Kuharic, Altakova from Kazakhstan, and Lalita Gaspar from Hungary, who has a lovely little story about India. We'll tell you that later. The last to qualify at 11.66. But look at that performance by Anita Stankovic. She was there in the 10-meter rifle final as well, and she has topped the qualifying. So medals expected for Poland, Gagan.
Well, she might be waiting to just get a crack on this one, considering that she was in the team event as well.
Well, once again, these very high-tech weapons are honed to perfection, custom-built, every single aspect of them, as we take you through some of the details.
Well, the 50-meter rifle 3 positions women event is shot in 3 different positions. The prone, standing and kneeling, of course, kneeling being first. The rifle maximum weight is 8 kilos. The ammunition is 5.6 millimeters. The bullseye is 10.4 millimeters at 50 meters. 45 shots in this competition.
Well, of course, the elimination starts after 40, and that's a little bit of heartbreak. Oh, look at that sleek weapon, fabulous, with all the sights, and making it look like something that's from another planet.
Very high-tech, Charu. That's a Bliker from Switzerland. Of course, these weapons are customized to the body of the shooter. Everything's adjustable. And very high class. If you have to shoot a target at 10 meters, which is as small as a shirt button, I think it needs that kind of weaponry.
50 meters, you mean? It's a really long distance. And of course, there's all sorts of light differentials to contend with as well, as we continue looking at these different high-tech weapons. The Walther, one of your favorites, yes?
Yes, I shoot with a Walther, and it's my favorite.
So here we are, all set for the last event on day 5 of the ISSF World Cup in New Delhi. It's the 50-meter rifle 3 position for women. 8 women through to the final after a brutal qualifying, where Anita Stankovic has done really well. But, of course, those scores now do not count. So it's all back to square one. Big Polish and Danish contingent here. All the reds clearly indicating where they're all from. And it's a pity that spectators are not allowed, but we understand why. The pandemic is still around in one manner or the other. And the NRAI and the Sports Authority of India, along with all the rest of those who are involved in the organization, just want to keep things very safe, Gagan.
Well, yes, a lot of effort goes into conducting these championships, and kudos to NRAI, the ISSF, and the government of India to host this event in such a condition. Of course, we see some good high-level participation from a lot of countries here. That's Arina Altukova from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, she is only 17, would you believe, and the lowest ranked here.
Top coach Olga Davgun herself is the champion.
Yeah, Olga will be aware that her ward is now 102 in world ranking, so plenty of time to go for her. Urška Kuharic, she's number 26 in the world and is 26 years old.
This would be her first final in the World Cup. Andrea Vlah.
Rigemeng Ibsen from Denmark comes from a little place called Sunds in Denmark. Not that it's a very large country anyway, but she's 30 and world ranked number 7. Heliskov maybe expecting a medal, her coach.
Well, good luck to her.
To them all. Okay, let's move on now to Živa Dvoržak from Slovenia as well, from the rather well-known town of Ljubljana. And she is ranked number 7 in the world too, or close there. So 29 years old, has a bronze. So far, 2 bronzes so far in World Cups.
Yes, and she's a double Olympian in London and Rio as well.
Now, here's a wonderful story, Lalita Gaspar. And we'll tell you more about that. But her name is the way we would pronounce it in India. It is Lalita. There's no spin there. Her parents love everything about India and the culture. And that's why they said, we will name you, give you an Indian name. And she, by the way, is only 42 kilos. Would you believe it? I mean, if there's a stiff wind, we might lose her.
Well, not at all. You'll be surprised.
Okay, here's the favorite. Should we call her that? Because she qualified in top spot, Anita Stankovic.
She's made it to probably all the finals in this World Cup.
And how well did these girls from the US do? Mary Tucker, ranked number 2 in the world, and she's only 19. Quite a prodigy from Lexington now in Kentucky.
Daniel Durbin, we've seen a lot of him.
And finally, in the last station, ranked number 4 in the world, Nina Christen from Switzerland, comes from Maglingen, hometown being Wolfenschießen.
World ranked number 4, and also Delhi is her favorite hunting ground for medals. She won a gold medal here in 2019.
Saima, thank you for joining us. Jury member in charge from Bangladesh next door. We welcome your presence and, of course, a very familiar face of your friend.
Viren Bhatt.
Where's his face mask? He's changed it.
Apparently, his wife told him to do so.
That figures. Yeah, well, it was a little skewed, that face mask that had his own image printed on it. But plenty of interest for the Reds here, for Denmark and for Poland, for Slovenia as well.
And the start list. Position A, Arina Altukova. B, Urška Kuharic. C, Rigemeng Ibsen.
And of course, Dvoržak, Gaspar, Stankovic, Tucker, and Christen rounding it all off. I did mention that Anita Stankovic, because of her finish in the qualifying, may be favorite, but as we have seen, the fortunes, well, they change quite rapidly. And this is a fairly steady beginning, kneeling, and then prone, of course, sees the most accurate shooting. And then the final standing position, things do, well, they're very variable at that stage. Lots of 9s, a couple of 8s as well, you never know. So you need to, as you said earlier, build your bank now while you can, in kneeling and prone.
Well, yes, those are probably a bit more stable positions than the standing position. Kneeling probably most athletes across the world shoot kneeling as good as prone. Standing, of course, is something which is very unpredictable, goes up and down all the time.
Well, just look at some of their equipment, of course, weighted, and those shoes as well, just built for adding stability to the stance.
Well, yes, but the thickness and the stiffness is also controlled.
Well, you can't be there in a full metal jacket, but there's plenty of weights to make sure that you're stable. Here we go, all set. Oh, a 9.3 for Gaspar to begin with. Remember, she's only 19. Or 20, really, from Budapest. Gaspar.
8.2 by Gaspar. Things not going her way. 8.9 by Ibsen.
Well, nothing spectacular so far. A 10.3 by Tucker. That figures because she did very well in the individual 10-meter rifle. So she's in good form. She knows the conditions well. She's been to the final. And all of that when she's only 19. That's remarkable.
The first 10.9 coming by Nina Kristen.
Wow. That's the way to do it. Kristen, a 10.9. That's very rare, and she's done it early in this competition. Gaspar climbs up to with a 10.1, but still not fabulous. Kuharic and Altakova, 9s.
That's the loading of the rifle.
All very slow, very deliberate. You don't want to shake your body position at all if you can help it.
Solid 10.8 by Kristen again.
This will make a leap ahead. 10.9, 10.8 from 50 meters. Just brilliant. Oh, Gaspar, a 7.2. It's not working out for Lalita. Not yet anyway. And as I said, this is the time you build your bank. And she, unfortunately, has lost a fair amount right at the top of this first 5 shots, the first series. She is way behind. A 10.7 by Altakova. That'll help. Just about everybody's wearing those 10.9 buttons, I notice.
Well, that's a bit of a brand thing. I mean, if you buy a jacket from the company, that's what the buttons are labeled as.
Yeah, but it's an awful lot of people using the same kind of clothing.
In shooting, it means perfect.
Middle of middle. Bullseye, of course, is a familiar term, but the way shooting is developed, there's an inner bullseye as well. Okay, we're through with the first series of 5, and Lalita Gaspar, for the moment, well behind. Nina Kristen with that 10.9, 10.8, expectedly well in the lead. Where's Anita Stankovic? She qualified right on top, right now in the middle of the field, but not too far back. Although Nina Kristen's opened a pretty healthy lead right away.
Well, she's off to a flying start, isn't she?
Without question. 10.9, 10.8. Can't really get better. Lovely shot of the ejection.
"17-year-old Altakova Arena on the screen there.
To the left, Mary Tucker, only 19, doing so well from the US. Fabulous medal in the 10-meter individual rifle event for women. And here too, beginning fairly well. Much better by Gaspar, 10.1, 9.7, but I think she's too far behind now. Of course, there's still some time left. We'll see how she does, the young Hungarian.
Nina Kristen trying to refresh her eyes, looking out and looking back in.
Well, she's slipped a bit, Kristen. 2 9s, but she did get to a fairly healthy lead right away. Here's Stankovic. Altakova with a 10.7. Stankovic in the middle of the pack right now. Ibsen at 10.8 and Dvorak also. Now, the scores are improving steadily from just about everybody, but Christian is the one who is slipping 3 nines in a row before she comes up with a 10.7. Must have heard me. Well, here we are. Mary Tucker, what a story. Only 19 years, ranked second in the world, and she's been shooting only 3 or 4 years. But this young lady from Lexington, Kentucky, whose hometown is Sarasota, Florida, already has a gold here at the ISSF World Cup in New Delhi in the 10-meter air rifle individual event. So that's just a fantastic story for the young American. Okay, just one shot to go from Rikemeng Ibsen to complete the second series. And everybody waits for her. Till then, a fabulous 10.7 from Dvorak, her last one. And look at the two 10.8s from Mary Tucker once again. And way ahead, Kristen at 103, a 10.8. She had those 3 9 somethings to begin with, but has come back well, Nina Kristen. Well, so Nina still leads this time by 1.9, but the next two are tied, Altakova and Dvorak. And it is Stankiewicz in third, 1.5 behind. So here's Mary Tucker again. There we are, very far away, those targets. And you can see the wind flags as well fluttering a bit. So the conditions are not fabulous, but they're good enough. It's a steady day. Kristen still way ahead, but it's pretty close thereafter, Gagan.
Well, yes, she slipped a bit, but I guess a few shots which landed higher tens still ensures that she's way ahead.
Well, with all the fancy eyewear shooters or shooting athletes wear, obviously the targets are somewhat visible, but to the naked eye, it's just a little dot in the distance.
Well, yes.
Nina Kristen, extreme right on the last station, H, doing very well. Let's see when she begins. A 10, well, average for her.
Look at that recoil when she shoots, like pop, and the rifle doesn't move left or right, just straight up and goes back down.
We'll see if we can catch that. Very steady. We moved on, but maybe we can make out from Arina Altakova's rifle. Also fairly steady. The one next to her, Ushka Koharic, moved quite a bit, as you said. There's Altakova, 10.3, currently lying in second position. And we mentioned about, you can see the smoke coming out of the muzzle when they load again. Yeah, one of many nations that generally does well in shooting, Kazakhstan. And we got others as well. The East European nations, almost all seem to be doing well. Slovenia here represented by 2. There's Hungary, Poland. Of course, we talked about Kazakhstan and the northern countries as well. Denmark, Finland. There are these shooting centers in the world.
Well, yes, the Europeans are pretty strong in the outdoor events, I must say. And also they have an advantage of getting good ammunition. I mean, it's easy for them to be in the European Union to go test ammunition. For us, we'll have to fly there and kind of have some restrictions and so on. But yeah, it's a game of...
You just saw the previous shooter, Nina Kristen, and she has a sticker on her gun. Nina Kristen is not only leading, and we just like to show you a sticker on a gun, which of course there's a bit of a story there as well, because she comes from Maglingen, and her hometown's Wolfenschießen. Like I said, you can't quite make out now.
Well, they're waiting for the changeover command. $10.7 by Ibsen. The screwdriver is ready for a changeover. And the start command and the race begins.
Well, they must all be pretty sore after kneeling down for the last 10, 15 minutes. But now they're up and racing to try and change all the settings on their guns. To confirm, Nina Christen of Switzerland is right on top, 1.8 clear of Živa Dvorak of Slovenia. And then the Kazakh third. Mary Tucker squeezes into fourth, displacing Anita Stankovic, who was there earlier. That's a pretty big gap between the top three and then Mary Tucker. I suppose they have a fair amount of time to try and recover. But time can slip by very quickly.
Quick. Remove the hand stop. Take the sling out, remove the side, change the butt plate, change the cheek piece.
Run. Move. And you don't want to forget anything either. I think we've said enough about how they have to be very, very certain that they've got everything that needs to be brought over. And you don't want to make sure that anything is left. There's the front sight.
Well, earlier we would start changing before the start command. And we saved some extra minute or two before, but now you can only touch your rifle or remove anything after you say changeover time start only.
This really is a huge additional burden for each shooter because there's nobody else but you to do that. And just when you've calmed yourself down, you've got 3 sets of 5 over, and you're looking good, feeling good, you've got to get up and completely reset. And that must do crazy things to pulse rates and to heart rates and to the thought process as well, because you're focusing on something completely different, which is the rejigging of your weapon.
And not to forget anything in the process. I mean, everyone has to keep their equipment in a box behind and just hope that you haven't left anything back in the suitcase in the changing room.
So in this whole process, Gagan, since you've been involved for a very long time and the 50-meter event was one of your favorites, has anything changed at all in terms of process or equipment?
Well, yes, these are new rules, of course, introduced a few years ago in the last Olympics as well. And earlier it was just a 10-shot final in standing. But that was a bit unfair because the standing athletes had an advantage. Now, with the 45-shot final, someone who's good at prone can demonstrate and have a chance. Someone who's good at kneeling can make up for it. And someone who's strong in standing as well. But in the end, standing position, because it's the highest from the ground, is the one that decides the medals.
Well, I think it's a valuable change because the spectators watching get involved with so much more rather than just the 10-shot final. So you got to watch all 3 positions, watch all the drama between them, and it just adds to the possibility that shooters who begin badly can actually catch up very quickly, and of course vice versa too. I mean, you might slip a bit, which would be a shame, but it does happen. And particularly for people watching, I think the 50-meter 3 position is actually a terrific watch, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the sold-out day in the shooting schedule at the Olympics.
Well, yes, it's probably the toughest event in the rifle disciplines because it tests you. You have variable light conditions, you have variable wind conditions. Then, of course, the changes in position. A lot can go wrong, and it really tests you as an athlete.
And I would like to believe that the toughest part of the 3-position thing is your attention being driven away from shooting, because when you are taking aim and shot after shot after shot, you're in the zone, you're focusing really hard, and then all that has to vanish as you suddenly go, looking around for which piece has to go where and where's my screwdriver or whatever, and then come back to it. They still have 2.5 minutes, by the way, but they seem to be set.
Yeah, and how I would actually train for this event was, I would shoot 5 shots, change over into the other position, then 5 shots, then change over, and go in a cycle actually, because you have to get used to doing everything with your eyes closed.
This is what I want. Thanks. This shot. Okay, here we are. Slovenian Armed Forces. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. That's Nina Kristen, who does work as a professional shooter in the army. So that's a bit of an advantage because even here in India, now, of course, it's very egalitarian, the sport of shooting, because everybody's into it thanks to Gun for Glory. But earlier, the armed services seem to have had a huge advantage because equipment and ammunition was, I'm not saying freely, but easily available.
Well, primarily, if you talk about India, I think the armed forces dominated for quite a lot of time because ammunition was easy, weapons were easy, and the facilities were top class. Of course, now with the civilians coming in, private sponsors being there, equipment manufacturers supporting, they're giving them a run for their money as well. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the strongest team that needs to represent the country. No matter where they come from, they represent the country.
Well, true. And of course, there is that widening of the base in India, and I'm sure many other countries as well. But it's quite possible that in some countries still, the armed services have, should we say, a starting advantage because weapons and ammunition is available easily.
Well, more than that, actually, it's a source of livelihood for a lot of athletes across the country because that's the first organization that kind of gives you a job and kind of lets you fulfill your dreams as a sporting shooter or as a sporting athlete, shooting athlete, I would say. So, I mean, without support, without a source of livelihood, it would be very difficult for any athlete to continue in the sport. That's Pawan Singh, of course, the first jury member going to Tokyo from India
Yeah,
with Yari
wow.
Davudovic.
What an honor, Gagan. Fantastic. I would never imagine that nobody's gone before. But Pavan, congratulations, the one on the left. And of course, he's in conversation
with the technical delegate.
Yeah, so they're all exchanging notes about what exactly am I expected to do at Tokyo. Pavan, you'll be okay. I'm sure you'll ensure that the Indian flag is flying high in terms of jury members as well.
That's the empty ejection.
Okay, we're almost set. 5 seconds left for the first set of prone. 5 shots coming up. The one in trouble, Lalita Gaspar from Hungary. She is well behind at this point of time, and I don't know whether she's that much better at prone to be able to claw her way back and get out of this danger zone. For the moment, she's a good 3.3 behind number 7, who is Rikemeng Ibsen. Okay, we're all set. Under starters orders now. The first set of 5, prone. Expect to see a few high 10s, maybe even a 10-9. We'll see. Nina Kristen to the right. To her left, Mary Tucker doing very well. Imagine after just 3 or 4 years, and she's 19 and she's won gold medals at the World Cup. Wow, what a story for Ms. Tucker.
That's correct.
Well, actually, you can say that for a lot of Indian shooters as well. I mean, so many of them are, what, 16 when they won a World Cup, like Saurabh Chaudhary, and 18. Manu Bhaker is still very young. So there are any number of teenagers or just about 20, 21 years old shooters from India who have gone on to grab great global honors. So the sport, as you said again, I'm quoting you, is just getting younger by the day.
Well, yes, the enthusiasm and the dedication that these young shooters exhibit, I mean, it's really heart-wrenching, and also with the kind of facilities that they're getting. Never before has it happened in India, especially.
The Kazakh Altakova currently lying in podium position. Well, we go back to our leader. There she is, Nina Kristen, wearing her Slovenian professional army shooter badge with great pride. Nina Kristen from Switzerland, beg your pardon, Swiss professional shooter in the army. Okay, Mary Tucker slipping back a bit with her 9.9. And she was 4th or 5th earlier on. Now she drops to maybe 6. Gaspar to the left. What's Lalita doing? Another 9.8. That's not going to help. But look at the scores rise for Ibsen at 10.6, 10.5. She was not very well placed earlier on, but Rigameng Ibsen now rises in the rankings here. Nina Creston with a 9.9. That'll drop her a bit. Altakova, Koharic, Ibsen, all with the middle tens. That's good going. Stankovic, who haven't seen her for a while, topped the qualifying and was lying middle of the pack earlier on. Where is she now? Still middle of the pack, but still time, as we see a little bit of smoke coming out of the barrel.
And Nina Christian not letting go on first position, trailing behind Ziva from Slovenia, Arina Altukova, followed by Stankovic, Koharic, Tucker, Ibsen, and Gaspar.
So two shooters in trouble. Rigameng Ibsen and Lalita Gaspar well behind the pack. And of course, there's a big gap after the first three, as Stankovic in fourth is 2.4 behind. So that's a lot of work for the Polish girl to do, who of course did rather well in the individual 10-meter. A medal for her though. All of 26 now, Stankovic, world number 13. As you see from the left, Arina Altukova from Kazakhstan, and all the rest of the ladies to her right. Here we go, second set, prone, 5 shots. 2 of them, Ibsen and Gaspar, need to do much better. And Stankovic too, well behind the top 3. Needs to start rallying from here now.
Set of last 5 shots from the prone series.
Just a bit of a slip from the Swiss Army lady, Nina Creston. Another 9.9. This is where you can expect the high 10s. We haven't quite had a magnificent 10-9 so far. Maybe it's coming. Hold your breath. Dvoršak, one of the 2 Slovenians here. The other one, her teammate, Urška Koharic. Dvoršak currently in second, Koharic in 6th. So Koharic's got some work to do. A 10-5, she'll take it. Well, Gaspar continues with the 9s. That's not going to help. Dvoršak a 10-5, and so to Altakova from Kazakhstan. And Koharic as well. So the Slovenians doing very well here today.
That's a nice group by Dvoršak. A bit low, a few clicks wouldn't hurt. .4 by Nina Creston.
Fair. It may just keep her in the lead. Just about, we'll see. As all the rest finish as well. Coach not too unhappy at this point of time.
And now they're waiting for the changeover time.
Watch the flurry. We got a little more to change over for the standing position. One last shot to be fired. I think we're through now. A 10-6 for Altakova. Rigameng Ibsen, 7th in the world.
Altakova, Dvoršak, and Christian all neck and neck on the first 3 positions.
Yeah, almost nothing separating them. Her lead down now to only 0.2. And I remember earlier on it was a full 2 points. So Christian slipping just a bit, but still maintaining pole position. And then a big gap, almost 5 points between the top 3 and Stankovic. And that is going to be pretty difficult to surmount. But they're after 2. The next 2 or 3, very close, Gagan. Just too big a gap between the top 3 and the rest at this point of time.
Gruning and Elimiga from Switzerland, equipment manufacturer. You see the wind from the right to the left a bit with those red wind flags. You immediately see the pluses on the targets moving towards the left when the flags move to the left as well.
Yeah, that's pretty wayward. Ricky Gibson continues to be on the left. Dvorak comes back with a terrific 10.8, almost middle to middle. Stankovic doing well along with Mary Tucker and Nina Kristen. That's pretty good shooting there. Of course, we're still prone, so expect those high scores. Gaspar, rare 10.3 for her. She hasn't really hit her straps today at all, the youngster. 10.7 for Dvorak. As Ricky Gibson, who was at the bottom of the pack along with Gaspar, once again is unable to climb up with that 9.6. Altukova, 10.7. Fantastic shooting. She remains in the top three, Altukova. Oh, Kristen, a 9.9. She continues to slip, and I suspect there may be a change right at the top. Our podium positions may switch, but Stankovic has too much to do to try and climb into the top three. Dvorak well ahead now of Nina Kristen. This is a big slip after an early lead for Kristen.
10.6 by Dvorak with 53.0. She is leading the pack.
Yeah, Nina Kristen tries to come back with a 10.4, but it's not good enough. And they will finish their prone assignment with Kristen probably slipping. We'll get you the official results very soon, but that's a wonderful shot. The Dane, Rieke Ibsen, knows that she may not have done enough to move up. Yeah, coach, there'll be some disappointment in the Danish camp for sure.
We have Jiva Dvorak leading the pack. Nina Kristen behind by 1.6, and Arina Altukova very steady and stable on the third position. And then the gap reduced from almost 5 points to 3.5. Stankovic reducing the gap there. Mary Tucker on fifth, followed by Kuharic, Ibsen, and Gaspar.
Well, if you were, I think Gaspar and Ibsen are probably in too much trouble anyway. But if you take a look at the combined score of the two in the middle, that's Stankovic and Mary Tucker, combined, they're like some 5.7 behind the top three. And it does look to me like that might be a private battle for fourth there. But if any one of those two were to climb into podium position, it will be a tribute to not only their increased accuracy, but maybe a little bit of inaccuracy from the top three. And for the moment, Arina Altukova is lying in bronze, about 3.5 ahead of Stankovic. But we have said this before, as they once again go on their frenzy of trying to change all the settings, that in the standing final position, in the three position, things do change quite rapidly.
Well, yes, we saw the men's event earlier on, and it was quite a bit of a frenzy. That's the barrel weight that she's trying to change in the standing, just so that the front of the barrel is a bit heavy and probably adds to the stability.
Okay, quick quiz question for you, Gagan. And you can give me closest to the two, although you probably get it right on the number. What are the number of parts, or what's the total number of changes that the shooters go through, the athletes go through from prone to standing?
6.
Looks like much more, though, isn't it?
Well, the butt plate, the grip, no, not the grip, the hand stop, the sight, a weight, the cheek.
Probably a few more, so it seems to me. And clothes too, right?
Yes, some people like to wear the trousers, but some people...
Anyway, that's quite a bit. And I wonder why shoelaces have to be tied again.
The shoes as well, because...
There you go. So one more.
Yeah, you fold the ankle, so you need to open the shoes. But you need those laces to be tied on for standing. That's changing the front sight to a different height.
Yeah, the 4 key. That's all you need. And of course, you need to make sure that your preferred ammunition is at hand. You mentioned, of course, that all the top athletes in the world do go and test different ammunition before they discover the one that they really prefer.
Yeah, testing, and which is very important and most missed is the maintenance of the weapons. And cleaning is a very integral part of your weapon. It also helps in increasing accuracy. So basically, there's a lot of gunpowder residue that goes into the barrel. And if you don't clean it, it of course reduces the accuracy. There's also wax in it. So they kind of have to clean it after every training session.
Almost ready, although there's plenty of time. Just a final adjustment of all the clothing they need to put on again.
Stankovic is ready before everyone else.
She's raring to go. Anita Stankovic, we got news for you. As you know, you are 3 points some behind, 3.5 the podium places, so plenty of work to do. Behind her, Mary Tucker, also another 2-point odd behind Stankovic. And Anita means business. Wants to move out of that heartbreak position, fourth for the moment.
And there's that famous Kapapi jacket and trouser that a lot of shooters, a lot of athletes from across the world use.
We just saw a legendary name on that, Peter Siddi.
Well, yes, a lot of shooting athletes, sorry, use these jackets and trousers, of course, all heavily regulated, not to give any advantage to any athlete.
Well, he must be doing something right, Kapapi, to have so many athletes come his way and get themselves tailored. As we see in the stall outside the market square, Kapapi is sort of, racing to meet the demand and tailoring custom-built clothing for all these athletes. Mary Tucker, that red weapon of hers, knows she's in a little bit of trouble right now. A gold in the individual 10-meter rifle. Well, she'll have a happy memory of New Delhi. But here, in the 53P, she is currently lying fifth, but well behind the podium position for the moment. So we were mentioning how the athletes are racing to find time with Kapapi, your good friend outside the market area, and there it is. You don't have too much of a crowd right now, but shooters from just about every country I've seen hanging around that shop and getting their custom-built clothes tailored, what, instantly? I mean,
Well, not so instantly, but yeah, he kind of sends it across to them. That's Nilesh Rane, also an ex-shooting athlete. I actually helped develop some of that kit.
I'm sure he's grateful to you properly. And of course, you're friends from Kenya, yes?
Well, I have friends from all across the world.
But you introduced me to them earlier on, and one of them, of course, is with the Kenyan police, so a good man to know.
Yes, when you go to Kenya, yes.
Yeah, they haven't hit the highs yet. But how are they developing as a nation? Do you think that in a few years, if there's a good program there, perhaps you could start one, that there's enough talent to throw up the Kenyans into the higher ranks of shooting athletes?
Well, not just Kenya. I think every country has hidden talent, and that just needs to be unearthed and nurtured. And I'm sure that a lot of countries are working on that, and especially India, because we've done so much for grassroots level sport with Khelo India and the federation. I was speaking to Raninder Singh earlier on, and he said in his term, he got sponsorship for 43 crores for the Indian shooting, which was spent for the junior program.
Well, somebody lift me up because I've just fallen off my chair. What, really? Fantastic. That's just a super figure for a country such as India, where sports doesn't always find funding easily. That's a remarkable amount. And of course, a terrific effort to be able to get that.
Well, absolutely. I think India's invested right in the grassroots and intermediate level programs. Of course, the elite program being completely funded by TOPS, which is called Target Olympic Podium, which is the government of India's scheme for Olympic athletes. So we have the complete pathway laid out for sporting icons in India.
Okay, back to the action. Just about a minute and a half or so left for the final position. This is standing, and we go through 2 series of 5 before we start seeing exits. And for the moment, Lalita Gashpar might be the first one to exit. She is way behind the pack. You feel for the little one. I call her that because she's only 42 kilos, 20 years old, from Budapest in Hungary. Has been shooting for a long time, though, 10 years, and does have a junior gold to her credit. So maybe a little overwhelmed with the competition here. Though, getting to the final, we say that again and again, is a big deal because there are lots of competitors and it's a tough qualifying to get to the final.
Well, yes, don't forget Arina Altukova, who's just 17 years old, and she's been very consistent right from the start.
True. So, and Mary Tucker's also 19, so plenty of youngsters here, teenagers here, making the final of the ISSF World Cup 50-meter three position, and some of them doing really well. Mary Tucker, a gold already. Altukova in third position currently, but well ahead of Stankovic. So maybe the three who are on podium position right now can actually hang on to that. Mary Tucker to the left, and to her right, Nina Kristen, who did lead for a substantial portion of the event so far, but currently has slipped to second. Leader, Živa Dvoršak from Slovenia. Always in the top 3 or 4, but having recently overtaken Nina Kristen in pole position is Dvoršak.
When I had a bit of a chance to train with her back in Slovenia, and she loved ice creams, but she probably had to give it up. So if she wins this one, I owe her one.
Well, you might start ordering one soon. Make it 2. I like it too.
Will do.
All right, a little bit of chocolate, please. Here we go. Under starters orders, and the first set of 5 coming up. Now, expect scores to be a little inconsistent, from the mid-10s to even early 9s. It's pretty tough when you're standing and the anchors are only 2 feet. And the target is just a little dot, 50 meters away. Here we go. The leader, Dvoršak. Ice cream waiting. But she's only 1.6 ahead of Nina Kristen, and things can change. Kristen, of course, shot some wonderful scores earlier on when she was in the kneeling position, then slipped a bit during the prone set. 9.8 by Dvoršak, not fantastic, but remember, the 10s and mid-10s very difficult while standing. This is almost eye level of the shooters. You can imagine how far those targets are. And look, Altukova tries to climb with the 10.3. We're certainly interested in what Nina Kristen's doing. And also at the bottom, where's Mary Tucker, where's Stankovic? Are they climbing up? Because they are currently out of podium position.
Well, Kristen having a bit of a shaky beginning in the standing position.
Well, just a shake of the head there. Yep, not too good. Here's our leader again. Well, maybe not right now, or she still is. By a healthy margin, matter of fact. So, yeah, looks like she might run away with it. Živa Dvoršak, good mate of our friend to my right. Gagan comes from Ljubljana, number 7 in the world, 29 years old, 2 bronzes so far for her. And she could be changing the color of the medal she's taken home. From New Delhi, she might carry a gold. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but she has done very well in this first set.
Well, she's also giving back to the sport. She's opened a company called Aiming Art, which kind of makes a shooting diary, which is very interesting for kids to learn, and also not just kids, but experienced shooters like us to kind of record our training every day and look back into it whenever we are in trouble.
Like a personal data form. Nina Kristen with an early 10. Not good enough. I think that gap between Nina and Dvoršak might increase. Here's Lalita Gaspar. Oh, Lalita, it looks like it may not work for you. Not today, but I'm glad you made the finals. Look at Gaspar, 10.8, a little late in the day. And Dvorak too, at 10.8. So that's going to keep her in the lead for sure. A 10.9 by Mary Tucker. Is it too late in the day? Nina Kristen slips with another 9.2. So it's all changing at the top, except for Dvorak, who is running away with it. Stankovic also still not being able to make it to the podium position. Still in fourth.
Well, things are changing quite rapidly in this second series of standing.
Rika Meng Ibsen, the last one to get off the series of 5. And, well, she's still in 7th. So things not looking good for the Danish shooter. There's confirmation. 2.8 now the difference between Dvorak and Kristen. Altukova just behind Kristen. And Stankovic now narrowing that gap to 2.7. Remember, it was almost 5. Another 5 shots to go, and you never know. Things could change. But Mary Tucker, despite that 10.9, still a good 4.8 behind the podium place.
Well, Stankovic shot some good standing in the qualifications, so we can't write her off yet.
There's the Danish coach of Rika Meng Ibsen. He will not be too pleased. Ibsen currently at 7th.
Well, she has the best last 5 shots of 51.3.
Yeah, but it may not come to her rescue as she's still number 7. Remember, the last 2 drop off after this. Here's a quick look at Stankovic, who was first up, ready with her weapon about 3 or 4 minutes before time. Anita Stankovic just showing her eagerness to get ahead, but still 2 points and a bit behind the podium position.
Oh, 7.9 by Gaspar.
Well, she was last anyway, and this is not going to help. But Dvorak continues to lead with a 10.5. Kristen falters with a 9.5. Who was on third? Altukova. What's she done? I think she might continue to stay. Oh, 9.6. That's not going to help. And Anita Stankovic with a 10.2 continues to narrow the gap. Mary Tucker not helping herself with a 9.4. Well, it's easy to see that Dvorak is leading because of a very high level of consistency. Some spectacular shots, but nothing really bad. And which is why she finds herself right on top of the leaderboard right now. The next set of scores, Gaspar comes back with a 10.5. Too late for her, though. Kristen recovers with the 10.4. But Dvorak slipping a bit. I think she has a healthy lead now. Not that she can afford to take it easy, Gagan.
You never can take it easy in a sport like shooting.
Altukova, who was always among the top 3 with a 10.5, moves up smartly and is pretty close now. Well, not all that close, but she moves into second as Nina Kristen continues to slip. I'm sure her coach will be very disappointed with that. Another 9.6 by Nina Kristen. What's going on in that mind of our professional shooter in the Swiss Army? World number 4, not working out, just slipping constantly the last few shots. Look at Altukova's 8.8. She'd moved up to second and now might allow Kristen to come back to second. Very close between those two. Here's Rika Meng Ibsen. The Danish girl continues to be in danger. Number 7 right now. A 9 last time around. Let's see whether she can better her score. Gaspar a 9.1. Mary Tucker tried to claw her way back with a 10.6, but maybe too late for her, the American. Kristen a 7.8, Gagan.
Oh, no.
Well, this is disastrous. Rika Ibsen once again. Nina Kristen, beg your pardon. Yeah, it's Rikimeng Ibsen, a 9. And I'm afraid that's not going to help because the bottom two will be eliminated and she will find herself there along with Lalita Gashpar. And she knows she's in trouble, so the safety flag coming up straight away for her.
Well, Lalita Gashpar and Rikimeng Ibsen will take that short walk. While we have a change in the top 3 rankings, Stankovic has clawed to the 2nd place now, behind Jiva. Close behind is Altukova Arena at 0.2.
Well, we'll get back to that. But here's Lalita Gashpar, who her parents named for a traditional Indian name. Not working out today for the 19-year-old. But she has done well to make the finals along with Rikimeng Ibsen. And the two of them will now exit in 8th and 7th place. Better luck to them next time. Hope you carry back good memories of the ISSF World Cup in New Delhi. The rest will continue. Yeah, what can I do? Tried my best, says Rikimeng. So Dvorshak building up a very healthy lead, 4.7. Nobody's going to take that away from her. I'm sticking my neck out. Well, you can at 4.7. However, between Stankovic and Altukova, only 0.2. And so too Nina Creston, just 0.2 behind. So it could still change between 2, 3, and 4. That's the business end of it. Mary Tucker maybe a shade too far, another 2.8 behind. And we'll see what new drama we have in store. But Stankovic doing very well to get back to silver from lying 4th and 5th for very long. I must say, that's pretty exceptional. She did finish 1st in qualifying, so much was expected.
Well, yes, she shot a brilliant standing. And standing is the business end here.
Only 6 left. And very soon, we'll have another exit. It's likely to be Urška Koharic, who is well behind. Mary Tucker also living dangerously at this point of time, but she may survive this cut, but not for long. Well, there's the exit. Urška Koharic, 26-year-old from Slovenia, will now exit in 6th position. Well done. Good to see you here. And it may be Mary Tucker's turn next. We'll see. Each shot now leading to an exit. Look at Dvorshak at the top, Gagan. I mean, that's just a fabulous lead. I mean, look at how it frees you mentally. Not that you want to lose focus, but that's just a huge lead. What do you think in your experience?
Well, a 4-point lead is very comfortable, and all you need to do is just get the shot in a 10.
And of course, what does happen is that Stankovic continues to break away from Nina Creston, and Altukova, who was for so long on a podium position, 2nd too, is now 4th. And that's trouble for Altukova from Kazakhstan. Very steady to begin with, just faltering a bit now. And out of podium position, but still pretty close to Nina Creston, who continues to slip as well. Creston at 10.4, that should help. Dvorshak so far ahead, but the low 9.8. And Altukova continues to be in even more trouble. Stankovic pulling away with a 10.1, but I think the gap between her and Dvorshak just a shade too much. Applause for Mary Tucker, the 19-year-old from Kentucky. A gold earlier on for the world number 2. But after shooting for just 3 or 4 years, I think that's still a remarkable performance. A 5th place here in the 50-meter 3 position for the American. It was a fabulous American 1-2, wasn't it? In the 10-meter rifle, Gagan. So they've come here ready.
Oh, yes. Even in the men's event, Lukas Guzensky was remarkable.
And they were okay in the mixed team event as well. So Jiva leads by 3.8. And we're down to the top 4. Can Arina Altukova claw her way back into podium position? I suspect not. She's 1.4 behind. So it'll take a particularly bad shot from Nina Kristen to allow Altukova back into a bronze medal position. And of course, Kristen herself is too far behind. Oh well, 0.5 behind Stankovic. So that could change. But I think Dvorak still too far ahead.
Altukova 8.8 against Nina Kristen's 10.2.
So that will not change. Altukova will be next to leave in fourth position, heartbreak position. Nina Kristen survives for now. And with that, of course, she will stay in podium position. In fact, just 0.1 ahead of Stankovic. So the second and third is still changing. Watch out for that drama. But Altukova finishing fourth. A little bit of heartbreak. She was in podium place. Well, maybe silver position for very long. But the Kazakh girl will settle for fourth. But remember, she's only 17 years old. Youngest in the field. Ranked 102, but finishing fourth in the World Cup. She'll remember this very fondly.
And first senior competition for her.
Almost had a medal. Just faltered a bit towards the end. And Altukova paying the price. So, very close between silver and bronze right now, between Stankovic and Nina Kristen. Kristen 0.5 ahead. Stankovic, all focus here. Came back to silver, now has dropped to bronze. But it can't be worse, as we see. Nina Kristen here.
Well, Jiva is far ahead, but this shot will decide between Nina Kristen and Stankovic.
For the moment, Kristen favored. 0.5 ahead of Stankovic. But things can change. 1 point is not too difficult in one shot.
Oh!
Kristen, 10.2. So she will retain her silver position. And Stankovic, well, she will have to settle for bronze. But I will have to say, it was a terrific comeback. She was 5 points behind the podium position some time back. An applause for the Polish girl, well, by her teammates at least, for a brilliant comeback.
It's a classic example of a comeback, Charu. I mean, she clawed her way back 1 point at a time. And absolutely amazing performance by her.
Well, she needed to beat Nina by 0.5. Didn't happen. Didn't have too good a shot, that final shot. And she settles for bronze. Stankovic from Poland, 26 years old, world ranked number 13, will take bronze here in New Delhi, 2021. So all between Dvorak and Kristen now. But Dvorak will virtually have to miss the target to lose the gold medal. So far ahead, comfortably ahead, 3.5 points. Okay, Dvorak, let's see a 10.5 or better. No pressure. Come on, go for it.
What flavor of ice cream did you like earlier, Charu?
Chocolate, please. Thank you. Okay, Nina, what can you show us? Had some very good shots to begin with, but she has slipped. And luckily for her, clawed her way back towards the end to finish with silver, we think. 1 shot to go. She did lead briefly earlier on, a 10-3, not bad at all. Jiva, oh, well, all right, doesn't matter. It's the thought of that ice cream that did it. 8.8 to finish, but she still takes gold, shakes her head, smiles, knows that she could have done better. But gold is gold, regardless of that 8.8. Big hugs all around. Well done, Jiva Dvorak.
Her first World Cup gold medal. Well in time for Tokyo.
Big smile for the 29-year-old. Yes, yes, yes. What a healthy lead. Unstoppable. That final 8.8 of no consequence. And Nina Kristen settling for silver. A nice final shot, but too much work to do. 3.5 points behind. Not easy to recover. A big hug between gold and silver. And they're all smiles. Mask back on. You've got protocols here. Stankovic comes up to congratulate gold and silver. And she came back very well too. What a wonderful story. Here we are. Smiles all around as we end our 50-meter 3 position for women final here in New Delhi. Well, there was no drama for gold, Gagan, but plenty of drama for the podium places, certainly, earlier on.
Well, yes, it has been an exciting final. Stankovic, of course, trailing behind, but clawing her way back in to take the 3rd position. That's her coach, Polona.
Well, your ward has just won a World Cup gold.
Well, Jiva has been very dedicated. When I would train with her, she would always be on time, train very dedicatedly and very hard, and it it will do a world of good for her confidence now, especially before Tokyo.
And of course, she likes those headbands as well. Most girls do. She's got that green one on, maybe a lucky color. Nice hug between her and Kristen. Confirmation then, ladies and gentlemen, watching around the world, the ISSF World Cup rifle pistol shotgun happening here in New Delhi in the 50-meter rifle 3 position for women. Dvorak from Slovenia takes gold. Kristen from Switzerland, a silver. And Stankovic, a wonderful story, clawed her way back to finish with bronze. Now, let's just remind you about how it all started. A little earlier in the day as they all walked in, having made the final. Stankovic, by the way, was spectacular in the qualifying. And we did think she might be a favorite for at least a medal, if not gold. And for a while, she stayed in the middle of the pack, very quiet, but came back very well. Here she is. We'll be delighted. Mary Tucker to the left, unfortunately exited earlier on, the young American. She does have a gold in the pocket earlier on in the 10-meter rifle. To the left, Arina Altikova finishing fourth. She led, well, at least was 1-2 for quite a while. Unfortunately, no medal for her. But overall, decent competition. One feels sorry for young Lalita Gaspar, who began badly, ended badly, and was the first to go. But she'll be back. And of course, Nina Kristen finishing with the medal, but she led for quite a while in the early stages. Just wasn't to be. Here's Gaspar. 15 shots kneeling, 15 prone, where we saw some decent scores. And then, of course, the final position out of 3 standing, where there was a fair amount of turnaround. Anita Stankovic, particularly, a magnificent comeback to finish with bronze. Mary Tucker in frame here had to settle for 5th, but a gold medal nevertheless individually earlier on for the 19-year-old. And finally, of course, came down to only a few. Here's the 4th position for Altikova. Stankovic ending with a smile and a bronze, and then the final 2. Kristen settling for silver. Coaches delighted as Nina Dvorak, Živa Dvorak, beg your pardon, takes gold here. The lady from Ljubljana will carry back that gold medal. Just confirmation of all the results. Kristen silver, Stankovic bronze. And honorable mention of all the rest making it to the final. I'm sure they'll be back in various World Cups around the world. Maybe we'll see them at the Olympics, Gagan. So a big thank you to all of us for joining us from around the world. I've got Gagan Narang here with me. Must thank you for joining me. Very game. Hope you get back to the game if you wish. And of course, on behalf of the entire production team, we do thank you for joining us for day 5 of the ISSF World Cup Rifle Pistol Shotgun from New Delhi. We'll see you again very soon. Till then, goodbye.